Everybody, it's Harry from Daddy BBQ, a YouTube channel that teaches you how to master barbecue so you can spread barbecue love. You're in luck today because I'm doing another test cooking on the Pits and Spits Maverick 1250, which is a pellet cooker. I have here a prime brisket that we're getting ready to cook competition style with a little bit of some Darien Cosmos injection reserve blend. I have it mixed up here with some water. We got a little bit of yellow mustard, my first place USA beef moolah rub, ready to go on to the competition brisket, which I'm going to show you guys how we trim it up, season it, inject it, and then put it into the Pits and Spits pellet cooker. We're going to try to cook it at a multi-stage temperature. We're going to start at around 225, bump it up to about 275 a little bit later for this Pits and Spits competition brisket episode. The liquid at the base of the cryovac is toxic. It's called a purge, so never put this in the sink. Go ahead and throw this into the trash. I like to towel dry my brisket, and you don't want to wash your meat ever. You don't want to transfer the pathogens to your sink faucet. I'm gonna leave some links in the video description below if you want to see the scientific reason as to why you don't want to wash your meats. There are approximately 8 grades of beef in America. You probably heard of Prime, Choice, and Select, but there are a few grades beneath it like Commercial, Canner, Cutter, and so on that you don't see in the store. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off some of the excess fat here. Try to get all the fat off of the point muscle, and I want to expose the point muscle so I can generate some competition style burn ends, which will have bark on all sides of the point. And I'm gonna trim off all the fat from the point area. This is a full packer brisket, so the full packer brisket has both the point and the flat muscle, and pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, and this is how I like to cook my brisket. You can also buy the brisket with just the flat muscle alone, like from Costco. We got most of the fat off the point, which is the muscle right here, the moist or the fatty. Create nice burn ends here. Ordinarily in a contest I would shave this down a little bit more, but this is not really for a full contest, but just a simulation of a contest, so I will usually shave it down so that it's a flat plateau so I can get beautiful cubes of burn ends from the point muscle. So let's shift our attention now down to the flat. We want to remove any excess fat here. Get rid of some of the silver skin and the fascia. I put my hand underneath the brisket to bowl the brisket so that I can kind of shave off any top layer of this kind of a fat, which is silver skin and the fascia. Clean up the surface of the flat so that the rub can stick, and we can get some of the seasoning to fuse onto the protein. We have a little bit of oxidation here. This is due to the hot wash when the brisket is being fabricated, so I like to trim this kind of oxidized part off. It doesn't hurt the brisket at all, but we just want to trim it off, just get rid of some of that oxidation. And you can see it's nice and red on this side, and on this side is oxidized. So this is due to the hot water being used to wash the carcass while the brisket is being fabricated. This is good enough. We can go ahead and inject it now. In my other videos, you see me do a more radical trim on the brisket. So if you're interested to see a full-on 100% competition trim, go ahead and watch those videos. This one is more, I would say, more like a 85-90% trim. There's a few other black belt tricks I show you in my competition brisket videos. But for this test cook on the Pits and Spits, we don't need to go to the extreme to do almost all of the meat to be cut off for competition style brisket. All right, let's put some injection in now. We'll lubricate the plunger first with some beef Vaseline. Let's go ahead and mix this according to the instructions on the back of the package. I like to inject with the grain. You can inject against the grain if you like. Put a foil underneath, like a little boat here. Put a little bit of mustard smear. Beef concentrate also works, but mustard also works really well. A little bit of my First Place USA Moolah beef rub. You can find this on my store or Amazon. Nice even thick coating of that. 2 blocks of wood. And the blocks of wood will allow you to drain the brisket so that it's going to be beautiful on the crust side. In our multi-stage cook, I want to explain why we started at 225 and then we're going to go up in temp now to 250. So you notice that when I put the brisket in, the brisket was just seasoned and put into the pit. What you want to try to do when you do that is you need some time for the salt crystals to penetrate the meat. So the way you do that is you cook the meat at a lower temperature first as a black belt tip so that the meat has a chance to marinate in the rub, which is called kind of like a dry brine. This also helps when you use a pellet cooker, because pellet cookers a lot of times don't have too much smoke. So doing a multi-stage cook starting at 225 for a few hours, then letting the salt sink in, let the smoke sink in a little bit, and then moving it on to 250, and then finishing up the cook at 275 to get it to the point where the box sets and you can crust. So there's 2 black belt tips here. Cooking multi-stage is to allow the salt to penetrate the meat. Number 2, to get you a little bit more smoke and smoke ring into your brisket and your barbecue meats. After 2 more hours at 250, we're going up to 275. And it's going to be 3 hours at 225, 2 hours at 250, and a couple more hours at 275. Then we should be ready to wrap. It's about 7.5 hours now. The crust has set, so let's go ahead and wrap it now. Okay, to remove your wooden blocks, we'll drizzle some beef broth, making sure to rehydrate the brisket. Watch how he soaks in like that. Black belt tip, so you can rehydrate your brisket very carefully. Let's get our knife now into the fat area between the point and the flat. Separate the point here. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Here, this is where the bird ends come from. Traditionally, you can slice it this way or you can slice it in a cube. I'll show you both ways here. So let me just slice it this way first into a cube. So this is what I do for competition. These little morsels of beef heaven here. And slice it against the grain. Turn it from this 90 degrees goes this way. Do the slices here. Slices from the flat. So the grains are running this way, so you want to slice 90 degrees against the grain. So slice on each end. Alright, let's take a look at this. Alright, there you go. Beautiful tenderness here, nice straight. Pull test, perfectly tender. Do the one from the back end here. Go. Nice straight. Let's give it a taste from the flat part here. There's something about smoking brisket, especially competition style. There's great, tremendous complexity, depth of flavor, that kind of beefiness. I know a lot of folks out there, they prefer not to use the injection, but you know, I think that the injection just takes it up just a notch, and the flavor is absolutely phenomenal, and good smoky flavor, nice smoke ring here, you can see, and overall great flat portion. Let me try now my favorite, which is the point muscle, or the moist, or the fatty. You can see how how nice it looks like right here. This is the slice, and this one is the cube of it here, right? Both two kinds. But we'll take a bite from the sliced area. Kind of falling apart here, beautiful. This food super well rendered. So the Pits and Spits cooks a mean brisket. Good. There's a little bit of the point muscle. My favorite, hands down. When you cook a brisket between the point and the flat, the point, that's my favorite piece of brisket. So enough of me talking now. Mr. Beans is waiting patiently for his little piece. Let me give him a piece from the point and also from the flat, see which one he likes best. All right, let's got a little plate for Mr. Beans. Let's see which one he likes best. We have Pits and Spits brisket here, so you want to try the flat and the point. Let me know what you think, Beans. Okay, go ahead. Wolfing it down. And I think he gives it a thumbs up for the Pits and Spits brisket. Right. All right, good job, Beans. Thanks for stopping by, watching my first brisket cook on the Pits and Spits Maverick 1250. The brisket came out absolutely amazing, and I think Mr. Beans agrees. So if you are going to check out the Pits and Spits, the Maverick 1250 is a fantastic cooker. Kudos and thanks to the folks at Pits and Spits for sending me a demo unit to cook on. I'll be doing more episodes cooking on the Pits and Spits. Want to do a shout out to all my Patreons for helping me keep the lights on my channel so that I can continue to provide free content on YouTube. Until the next video, we love ya. We'll see you in the next video.